Hey, my name is Aaron, and this is episode 13 of Aaron is Perfect podcast. Yeah. Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks so much for tuning in once again to my podcast. Just had to take my sunglasses off because why was I wearing them? I'm inside a building now. So I want to start this episode off making a small announcement. Nothing, not a big deal. Nobody panic. I'm not panicking. I'm fine. This is going to be the last episode of what I would consider to be season 1. I wasn't sure if I was going to make this like a season style podcast or not, because it's kind of silly to make a season style podcast because it's like I go away for an amount of time and then I just come back and it's the same thing, because it's not like a million things are changing. I'm just going on vacation, and I didn't have the wherewithal to stock up on episodes. Plus, I thought about certain things, and I started writing like topics for the other 2 episodes that I would have to post while I was away, and I was finding that a lot of this shit would have been irrelevant by the time it came out. So, you know, if I'm talking about like current events, and I have like specific topics that I want to talk about, even when it comes to my own personal like experiences, I want to make sure that they're relevant to somewhat an accurate time frame, or at least they stick to a current time frame, and that's just not possible when I take 2 weeks off to go away. When there's no way for me to record a podcast while I'm on vacation, and I've had this like dream to sort of reconfigure things as far as the background, the way that I have the camera set up. So I think I wanted to try a couple new things, and I might as well, if I'm going to switch it up and change some shit, then I might as well take a little break to be able to do that. So I'm not going away. I'm not going to stop doing this because I really, really enjoy it. But let's be honest, I don't get paid to do this. I just do this for my own narcissistic purposes. So, and this is about my illness for the most part. So if things aren't exactly the way that I want them to be, then I might as well make them the way that I want them to be. I was gonna try. I was thinking about not talking about the fact that I have blue fucking hair in this episode, and just see if anybody notices or says anything, or just like, oh, we're not gonna talk about his blue fucking hair. But then I also realized that it wouldn't be that funny if you're just listening and not watching. So if you're sorry, I just got to adjust the mic here. I got taller over the weekend. If you are just listening and not watching this, I have blue hair. My hair has been dyed blue. I say it has been dyed, but I dyed it. I did it myself, and I paid money for the hair dye, and here we are, Mr. Blue Hair. I'm sorry, this fucking microphone's driving me crazy. Okay, hold on. See, I have a better microphone, and I have an actual podcast arm, and I haven't used it at all yet, which is silly. Like, I have a really good, like a specific for podcasting microphone, and I brought it to a friend's house because there's another project that I had been working on previous to this one, and I was sort of setting it up there to like see what it would look like and sound like and stuff, and I just never brought it home yet. So I might do that for the season 2. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I have a couple different ideas, and I'm hoping that it's gonna be pretty badass. because, there are a few things that I have control over. The way that my mind works, not so much, but I do have control over the aesthetic nature of projects that I work on. So I'm going to keep going nuts. You may have noticed that I have an additional monitor now. I have another monitor. That's cool, huh? There's really no reason for me to have another fucking screen in here. Like, really, there isn't. Other than now I can work on this computer, and I have my email sitting here on this computer, and I do all my video and like graphic shit on this computer here. So this is one computer. This is another computer. Here's an iPad. And I do all of my graphic design and I do all of my video editing on this computer here. So, and it's good to have, like, I can do some, like, I'll edit a video here and then I'll leave it to render over here, and then I'll do all my graphic shit on this computer while this is rendering over here. It's kind of cool because I can keep an eye on both things. And then this edition, was to keep an eye on my email. So I always have my email open here, and over here I do all my other, like, web design work. And you might be wondering why my monitors are sitting sideways. It's because a lot of the stuff that I do is like a scrolling up and down. So I use some spreadsheet shit, but I also do web design. So I design web pages, and I move links around a lot, and I have to, like, scroll up and down pages quite often to get information from one side of the page to the other, as it were. And this just makes it easier. I can see more. I can move things around a little bit easier, and it doesn't really make a huge difference when it comes to width. So it's nice. But that's why. I also have a new sign. It says Aaron is perfect. The perfect. I'm only describing it because you may or may not be listening, but it says Aaron is perfect, but the perfect is in quotations, and the E is down one line. The first E in the word perfect is down one line. Just so you can tell that when I say Aaron is perfect, it's not real. I'm not actually assuming that I'm a perfect person. That's not the reason I named it this. Have I ever gone into that? I think I did. I think it's because I think I did talk about it, but in case I didn't, it is because I am not perfect, but my brain wants me to be. My brain has decided that I need to be perfect, and I need to make sure that everything is done super precisely, and I don't have a lot of control over that. And when I do try to control it, I just end up so mad. So what I did was I made sure that I made a sign, or I made, graphics that are imperfect. I know that I'm not perfect. I know that this podcast is going to be a little bit fucking haywire. And I am just kind of making fun of myself, because why not? It's funny. Self-deprecation is hilarious. And I know that I'm funny. I know that I'm charismatic. I know that I'm hot as shit. So I know that even though I'm not perfect, I'm pretty fucking close. Okay. So anyway, let's get into this shit. I'll stop talking about the podcast because that's kind of boring. But yeah, expect it to get better, and visually better, and hopefully sonically better with a new mic, and a bunch of things will enhance your listening and watching experience in the not too distant future. So get ready for that. I will, of course, make announcements on my social media. I'm hoping to be a little more active on social media after this as well. I want to create clips. I want to create a new logo, maybe. Or maybe I'll just create a new sort of theme. Not sure, but there's a lot I can do. I'm multi-talented. Mulsi. What the fuck, dude? Shut the fuck up. Like, Jesus Christ. I'm multifaceted. I've got many things that I can do, so I'm going to switch it up and fuck with shit and hopefully make it better. Anyway, So like a week ago, or a week tomorrow, we had one of the biggest like what's that noise? Oh, cool. One of my speakers is making some fucking weird ass noise. And it's getting louder. Hello? That's real crispy. Well, hopefully it doesn't fuck with shit. But yeah, so the country of Canada had a massive, basically one of our biggest internet service providers, the biggest internet service provider in Canada, had a giant fucking crash. It was an outage, like nationwide, and because most people are on Rogers, which is the company, like I think a good majority of users are on Rogers or use Rogers. And I'm not just talking about people, I'm talking about like giant fucking companies, tech companies, and like healthcare companies are all on Rogers. Like there was a little while that 911 was unavailable. So like emergency services were not able to take your phone call. and banks were fucked, and like most places could only take cash. Some places could take like some credit cards, but it really depended on what was going on. Basically, it was like an outage. Your internet, your phone, and most like payment options and some emergency services were completely unavailable. And like, of course, that sucks. It was a fucking pain in the ass. I'm lucky I didn't have any sort of emergency, because that would have been awful if that had happened. And I'm sure that happened to a few people. And there was some definite real cause to complain about this outage. I'm on TELUS, motherfuckers. So I was able to like access the internet for most of the time. Like it was a little blotchy, but it wasn't off for me. So I had the best part about that is that I had access to all of the other people who would have like intermittent access to internet. So like some people had like on and off, or like they would maybe their home was TELUS or something, and they had, or Bell or something like that, and then they had like little bits of service here and there, but they didn't have their TV or something. And I fucking laughed at our first world problem fucking crybaby world for 24 hours. It was hilarious to see the things that people were fucking complaining about. I was like, I didn't want to do the like people are dying in Africa type of thing, but man, it was hard not to be like, shut the fuck up. Like this is like, you know, this isn't that big of a fucking deal. Like unless you have some serious health issues and you don't have access to whatever important thing that you're supposed to have, you're probably fine. You know, you're likely unaffected. If anything, all this is doing is forcing you to go outside and do something other than stare at your fucking phone. And so many people were complaining like Facebook doesn't work, Instagram isn't working, I can't even update my stat. Like there were so many things that people were fucking complaining about that I was like, you got to be fucking joking me. Can't even see the news. So what? What is important in your world? So important that you need to watch the fucking news. Like something probably happened maybe 100 kilometers away from you that has nothing to do with you at all. Just the people complaining about not having television or not having like, you know, internet. The phone is another thing because some people require a phone. So yeah, that can be a pain in the ass, especially if like you need to like check in on people who maybe could be vulnerable. I don't know. But and I understand that mental illness obviously is a big thing too, right? And some people have a mental illness that is specifically dedicated to their device, right? They have this obsessive nature. I have it. I'm fucking obsessed with my phone. I'm obsessed with social media and checking in on that shit. But it's not to the point where as soon as it turns off, I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck am I going to do? Like, this is such a pain. Yeah, it was a pain in the ass for work, but like the work that I had, like all of our payment systems were down. So I couldn't fucking, even if I could like market to these people, I couldn't get them to come in and do anything unless they had cash. I had to just basically put out an announcement that we were fucked. That's it. And, and the best part of it is like, when I got to work, I was able to clean my office. I did some like shuffling of shit around. I moved a bunch of gear that was in here. Like I had actual instruments in this space, which was taking up a lot of space. And I had the ability to move some stuff around and get them out of here. So now I have a ton of space in my office. There's so much that I, have access to now just because of that outage. And I came in, the internet was dead. We started finding out that it was nationwide and it was going to take a long time to come back. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to go get a coffee. So I went and I got a coffee and I drank my coffee and I took a beautiful walk through a nice like forested area on like a little boardwalk thing. And it was magical. I haven't done that forever. Like I was like checking in on my emails and stuff because like I said, I have TELUS. Didn't get a single email because nobody else had internet. But like there was limited shit that I could do. So I signed out and I made sure that I had a nice, lovely time to just be outside and without any sort of device. And it was fucking awesome. And then I spent the rest of the day, trying to like edit pictures and take images, take photos and stuff of instruments. And it was actually a really cool day. It sucked because I'm sure like it fucked us for business a little bit. And like, it's not like I own the place, so I'm not like emotionally attached to those numbers, but I do find it important and I want where I work to be successful. So yeah, it sucked a little bit, but at the same time, I think it was a nice excuse to just be. Excuse me for the burp, but to be a person outside of technology. It was nice. And for somebody who, spends their entire day at computers and like, I say computers because I have two of them. Yeah, do you have two computers? No? Oh, that's fucking embarrassing. That's fucking embarrassing of you, from what? Oh God. Water is so delicious. There's just so much of that signature water flavor. Oh my God. I don't think I closed my water bottle properly and now I got water all over me. God damn it. I hate getting water on me. Actually, let's not put that. I'm going to put this on the floor. There we go. I hate getting water all over me because, like, fuck. Like, so sticky. Ew. God. And then when it dries, it just dries completely dry. Imagine that. Anyway, so yeah, that was a funny thing that happened in our country, and now like the government is fucking pissed at this company. They're super pissed with Rogers because that shit can't happen in this modern day and age. We cannot be held hostage, especially when it comes to emergency services. Actually, that's the only reason. Emergency stuff. And of course, being able to pay for food. Those two things are necessary, extremely necessary, anywhere that you live. And because we live in a country where, like, there are two main service providers that own the monopoly. Like, even though I'm with TELUS, I'm technically with Bell. Like, it's that type of thing. There are two internet service providers, and everybody just sort of piggybacks off of either one of those two and offers their own whatever. So it's like everybody is held hostage by these two major corporations, and then one of them just goes down because they had some sort of fucking like update issue or something. Like they updated and it fucking deleted a bunch of shit, and it fucked up the whole system. I hope the person who like pushed go on that is like dead. I hope they're a dead guy, you know? I really don't. I obviously wish that on nobody. But like that person is fired for sure. It might have been a group of people, but either way, like it sucks when these giant companies who, like, you know, there's billionaires at the top, right? You know, there's people who are buying fucking yachts with their money, with just like pushing a button and making sure that everyone has fucking internet. Like, there's probably almost no upkeep when it comes to that guy sitting at the fucking top collecting billions of dollars. And there's zero trickle down, you know, for sure, because fucking capitalism. So it's awful. And when something like this happens, yeah, they should be fucking held accountable. And I think the like our federal government is like going in and being like, this type of thing can't happen. If for some reason this happens, like all of the other service providers need to make sure that they're like offering service for free, and then you have to put your money where your mouth is. And I think they're actually, like, anybody who is a Rogers user, they're getting like 5 days worth of whatever back, like credit back, which I think for some people it's like that's great. For some people it's like that's obviously not enough, because it's going to be like, you know, $100 or something like that per person, which, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that's a lot of fucking money for them to dole out, but they could definitely do more for sure, because they're fucking the biggest company in Canada. But either way, it was fucking weird. It was a weird day. It was like I don't know, was it 1990 something? It might have been like early 2000s. We had a 3-day power outage. I don't know what happened. Like there was a giant transformer that exploded, and it was, I think it was mainly Ontario, but it was so big that we had 3 full days without power. And I remember I was a teenager, and I did some fucking horrible shit. I was like, oh, yeah, the power's out? Cool. I'm going to go fucking purge or some shit. I didn't kill anybody, obviously. But I, like, you know, I did some fucking awful shit. Broke into some places and just did some awful shit. And like, I didn't hurt anyone. Didn't hurt myself. Like, there was no pain or anything. But maybe some shit got damaged. Hard to say, because I, of course, didn't stick around for long enough. I didn't burn anything down, you know. I don't think I really hurt anybody. I probably just created a bit of work for a few people. But, and I didn't steal anything. But I just created havoc, right? Because I was a fucking little bastard when I was a teenager. But, yeah, it was such a wild time. And this is before, like, cell phones and stuff were big. Like they, you know, I think people had cell phones, but it wasn't like everybody, you know, had one like they do today. There was no social media really. There was still, I think it was like MSN Messenger, and that was down. So like you couldn't really, MSN Messenger is, if you're American, I think it was like, I don't remember what the fucking American version was, but it was basically just like an instant messaging program that was big in Canada. That and ICQ, those two things worked in tandem, just to message people back and forth. But all of that shit was out, and there was legitimately, it wasn't just phone lines, it was zero power. So not only could you not like connect with anybody else, you also couldn't fucking refrigerate your food. It was a wild time, especially for 3 days. And there was no fast food. You couldn't go to a store. You couldn't go anywhere. You just had to like sort of figure it out from what you had. It's crazy to think about that shit. It's crazy to think about how that affected us so intensely. And it, like, we obviously, everybody that I talk to remembers, it's like it's known as like the Great Power Outage. And, this sort of resembled that a little bit. Like, stores were still open. Like, I still got a coffee because I had cash on me. But McDonald's was cash only. This is McDonald's, for fuck's sakes. You know, they were cash only, and most places were like that. There were a few that could take like MasterCard, I think, and I don't know why. I have no idea like why that channel worked, but yeah. So anyway, it was an interesting time. It was about 24 hours for the most part, maybe a little bit longer, like maybe 26 hours, 28 hours of like zero anything, and then it was back for most people when it came to internet, but TVs were still down. And Facebook, when Facebook came back, dude, oh my God. Like the things that people fucking complained about when I was able to re-access or when other people were able to re-access Facebook, and I got to see some of the shit that they were fucking posting. And this isn't like Friends. This is like, there's a few like communal groups for the town that I live in. And oh, Rogers is at it again. Still don't have my fucking, my Fibe TV. Oh no, I think that's Bell, but what is it? I can't remember what it is. They have a different type of like cable television. Ignite. Rogers Ignite. My Ignite's still down. I only get the news. Like I only get channel 2, and then everything else is like, who fucking cares, man? Who fucking cares? Nobody cares about this at all. Okay? Nobody gives two fuck about this television that you have. Ukraine. You think they're sitting there being like, my fucking TV's not working? No. You know why? Because their mouth has been blown off by shelling. Like a dark. But you get it, right? You understand that your TV not working is a first world problem. It's not a problem. You're making it a problem. But it's not one. So don't do it. I went to a cottage last weekend with some friends, and fuck, it was so nice. It was so nice. I was like, I didn't tell anybody this, but I had to like gear up for it. I knew that we were going to be spending a lot of time at the beach. I love the beach because I love just like breathing in the lake air, like, and it wasn't, sometimes that can be gross. Sometimes it smells like fishes and shit, and shit means like, and poo. But this time it was like, and usually it's quite nice. Like it's very fresh. You can smell like, it's sort of like, I don't know. It's like a nice beach, kind of like you smell the mix of the sand and the water, and it was beautiful. The first day was kind of cold, but it was beautiful, and like it's just nice to be on the fucking beach, and just relax. And but I fucking hate sand, right? I'm not a fan of sand. I just like it sticks to everything. It gets in everywhere. No matter what, you can't get the fuck off of you. You have to completely dry yourself, and still you feel like you have sand fucking everywhere. And of course, the first day it was windy. So my kids, like, they're like, it was windy. It was kind of chilly. So they were in and out of the water, like trying not to be in the water too much because it was a little bit too cold. But every time they dried off, they made their towel wet. And then the towel would go on the sand. So the sand would stick to the fucking towels. And then like every time they picked it up, because it was windy, it would just be like a sand fucking storm in your face. So you just get this fucking, oh my God, you just get this fucking crazy sandstorm of shit all in your fucking face. And it was awful. So I gave myself a pep talk before we even went to the fucking place. Before we even went to the thing, I went, you're going to get sand on you. You're going to get sand. You're going to get sand in places that you don't like even just your hands. Like, I don't like sand. I don't like shit on my hands at all. I don't like sand on my hands. I don't like it under my fingernails. I don't like it in between my fingers. I just don't like the feeling of sand anywhere on my body, ever. On my feet, ugh, and it gets stuck between your toes. Nah. Nope. Definitely not, guys. I don't like that at all. But I because I gave myself this pep talk, and it was like, I give myself pep talks all the fucking time because I always have to try and prepare myself for awkward shit that I don't like to do, which is a lot of shit. And this one was more like, you're going to get sand on you. And it wasn't like an embrace it. It was more like a enjoy it. Enjoy the fact that there is like things that you can do with sand that you used to do when you were a little kid that you used to really enjoy. Like I still didn't like sand as a kid, but I really don't like sand now. And back then I was able to like build sandcastles because I like to play. I was a kid. I like to play. So I would create little environments out of sand, regardless of how fucking uncomfortable it made me. So this time I fucking got into the fucking sand and I started building shit for my kids, and I dug a fucking hole that went up to my shoulder. That, you know when you dig a hole on the beach and like you dig so deep that water finally fills it? So I did that, but I just kept going. So I made this giant fucking hole, but also it was only like maybe like, I don't know, fucking 6 inches wide at the top. But because I kept digging and like moving the water around and pulling more sand out, it started to get wide underneath the hole. So I basically created this giant like muddy water like pit. And I was like just still pulling water out of it. And then finally, like, I don't know what it was about this sand, but it was really dense. It was really packed in there. So like even when you stood on top of this, when it was hollow underneath, it wouldn't like break. It wouldn't fall apart. So I started stomping on it and it made this like boom, boom. Like I like basically made this like drum out of the beach. And it was like noticeably vibrant. Like the sound, like you'd step on it and be like, boom, boom, boom. It was very vibrant. It was really cool. It was nice to share that experience with my kids. And then I had to deal with getting sand off my body for, I don't know, a year. It's been a week, but it felt like a fucking year of me trying to get sand off my body. But I enjoyed that part. I enjoyed the sand. My kids enjoyed the sand. I wasn't neurotic. I wasn't a fucking pain in the ass. And it was a great experience. I had a really great weekend. We went up to a friend rented a cottage. So we're like, hey, we'll bring the food and spend a day and a night. And it was fucking lovely. It was fucking lovely. It was lovely and beautiful and all of the things that are positive. And it was very nice. Very much enjoyed that experience. And I'd do it again. 10 out of 10, I'd do it again. I like this my accent, my fake accent seems to like rotate from being somewhat comparable to a real accent to just being like, what are you doing? What is that? What's that sound from your face? Anyway, it was really nice. It was a really nice experience. I just got to let you in on how I'm feeling right now. I haven't had a lot of time to bring up topics or think of things that I wanted to talk about. I also really haven't been in the mood to do this. Like regardless of my experiences at home and stuff and like what I'm actually going through as a person, I just haven't really had the desire to sit in a room and talk. I've wanted to be quiet, and I don't know what that's all about. And this happens to me. Like I get quiet sometimes, or I get like, just, I don't know what it is. I just don't really feel like being fun. You know, I just feel tired, and I feel like this doesn't really have an impact, you know, on me sometimes or on anyone else. So like I get into the like, why the fuck am I doing this phase? I have to try and convince myself and remind myself why I'm doing this fucking silly podcast. And it's because I actually do enjoy it. And it's sometimes it's like one of those things where it's like it's work. It feels like work, but you forget that you actually fucking enjoy it. So I still have to like remind myself sometimes that this is fun, you know. And once I get into it, I really, really enjoy it. Like I really like sitting here and talking. I really like doing that. Even if nobody's listening, I really genuinely enjoy airing out all my fucking, feelings, or just like have an option to be just silly, for no reason, So I have to just continue to think that way, because the last couple of days I've been just kind of in a shitty, dark place, and I don't. I'm not going to go into it why, but I didn't feel like doing this. And I think that's one of the big hurdles for me right now, is to push myself when I'm not in the mood to just do this. Because I do, when I record a fucking episode of this podcast, the rest of that fucking day feels great. I really feel like I've accomplished something. Even if it's just breaking through whatever fucking mood I'm in, or just being reminding myself that I can actually fucking do this. That seems to be the big thing here. Just being able to remind myself that I actually can do this, and I will talk about things that people care about, and I will make a bit of a fucking impact, even if it's just on myself when I go back to watch the episode. Just be like, that was funny, or that was well said for you. Because I'm not overly my vocabulary isn't enormous. I don't know how to romance the English language to a point where I sound like I'm a fucking genius, but I do have the ability to fucking talk and answer questions and talk on topics. So I just got to keep reminding myself that when I do this, I really enjoy it. And I enjoy the outcome. I enjoy talking about it with friends when they've watched it. I really enjoyed having Julian on, and I do have another guest that will be coming on at some point soon, once I get back into podcast territory for season 2 of Aaron is Perfect. So you can look forward to that. Maybe I'll make that episode 1 of Star Wars. Anyway, yeah, it's been kind of tough. The last couple days have been a little bit tough. It's not really my I've got specific experiences that have sort of led to me feeling this way, but it's part of life. Life just has its ups and downs. Yeah, life has its ups and downs. I'm a fucking meme. I'm an inspirational quote meme. Life has its ups and downs. Live, laugh, love, life. Licorice. Liquor-ass. Sorry, that was weird. But yeah. So it's just a little lesson that if you like doing something and you do it so much that it starts to feel like a job, just do whatever you can to remind yourself that you actually enjoy it. Even if it is your job, you were there for a reason. You started doing that job, maybe for money, but you stuck with it because a part of you enjoys doing it, maybe, So don't get so jaded. Don't get fucking what's the word I'm looking for? Because I have this giant vocabulary. Don't get entitled, because someone is right behind you looking for a job and could have that job, Everybody's replaceable. And I think it's really important to humble yourself the way that I did, and make sure that you realize that life's too short to fucking give a fuck about that type of stuff, to dwell or to forget how much you like certain things. What I'm trying to say is, don't fucking complain when the internet goes down. Embrace that shit. Completely separate topic. That's a completely separate thing from what I was saying. So there you go. Be less confused. So just be less confused. Just do that. All right? This is what happens when you have a podcast. is that sometimes you just say shit and it doesn't even fucking make any goddamn sense. But here's another thing that doesn't make any sense. Elon Musk fucking decided not to buy Tinder or whatever the fuck it was. I haven't looked at anything in regards to this. I just find this to be really funny because people are fucking like slaying this dude because he said he was going to buy this giant fucking social media company and then didn't. Like, why any of this fucking matters at all is just beyond me, you know? Like, the funny thing about it is, if any other person were to go out and buy Twitter that you didn't know, would it even be anything? Like, would it even matter? Like, if some fucking, like, dude who was underground dude or woman or everything in between, if some person bought Twitter that you didn't know was a multi-billionaire and like an evil fuck that just like would do some secret underground horrible shit, we wouldn't even talk about it. It'd be like, oh, someone bought Twitter, and that would be it, and it would be over, and then like the horrible shit would just be secretly happening. But as soon as it's someone who is like specifically in the public eye and like a fucking shit disturber, like people just fucking can't leave it alone, you know? And this is sort of something that we were saying in the last episode about like R. Kelly and fucking Michael Jackson, you know? Michael Jackson is more specifically this because he's dead and there's nothing you can do now. You can't like dig up anything else to like implicate him. You know, he probably did that shit though. He probably did it. But I like, if it was anyone else, it might be in the news for like a day. But because it's Michael fucking Jackson, it's this person, it is there forever. It lives there forever. That thing lives there forever. Elon Musk saying he's going to buy Twitter and then not doing it is going to be there for fucking ever. People are just going to be like, ugh, remember when he did this thing? It so doesn't fucking matter at all. And the worst part about it is it matters so little because it didn't, nothing happened. It was just people said things, people talking, not even talking, typing it. He just said it on the fucking platform that he was going to buy and then said that he wasn't going to buy it on that same platform. So what? So what you're telling me is nothing happened and we're all talking about it. 0 things happened and I'm talking about it on my own podcast. So yeah, I'm perpetuating this weirdness, but I'm also perpetuating it to point out how fucking weird it is to talk about this. Why are we doing it? Why does anybody fucking care? Because he's famous? Because he's a famous guy? Like, if you're going to talk about Elon Musk, then talk about his fucking space. Talk about the fact that he's going to space. Don't talk about the fact that he's a billionaire and should put his money where it fucking matters in the world, because that's never going to fucking happen. Talk about it like this person is doing space shit. Another burp, everyone. Seemingly from nowhere. My friend Josh told me that there's some weird correlation with some sort of like strange stomach disease if you burp a lot without like eating or drinking something. Like, and I get really bad heartburn. I wonder, am I going to die? Am I going to die right now? Have you ever like thought about your heart and how it's a muscle and like how you can control almost every other muscle in your body, but you can't control that one? And then you're like, maybe I can. And then you like think about it. You're like, okay, don't think about that. Hold on. No. Like, what if you access some sort of like, you know how like sometimes some people can like move their ears? They have access to certain muscles that like not everybody has access to. Imagine you're one of those people that have like access to your heart, but you always had to like physically pump it. Like you always had to be like, you always had to remember to like physically pump your heart with your muscles. That would be a dead person. That person wouldn't be able to be alive because they'd have to do it while they're sleeping, or they'd have some sort of machine doing it. And I feel like that's impossible. I know that a fucking what's it called? The thing in when people have heart attacks, and it has to wake your heart up. Oh my god, peacemaker, a pacemaker, a fucking peacemaker. It makes peace with your heart. Bye. Imagine your heartbeat like that. You're just like, that's my conclusion sound when I'm banging. It's like, oh, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Oh, imagine I would never have sex. That'd be the only time that I ever did it. I'd be like, oh my god, that's what happens. Okay, I'm done. Celibacy for life. I don't know how to do the thing. I did the like the head shoulder tap, like religious thing. I don't know what that is. I don't know how to do that. Penis, spirit, and the holy penis. But yeah, I think about that when I'm high. It's like, what if I could stop my own heart just by thinking about it? And then I have a very severe panic attack because I feel like I eat too much cheese and meat, and I'm like, I'm going to fucking die. I'm going to die right here. And then my heart starts beating because I start panicking. And then I can hear my heart in my eyeballs somehow. And then I'm like, oh, okay. You weren't going to die before, but now you're going to die because you cannot stop thinking about it. And then my fucking internal monologue gets so loud, takes over my external monologue. I like accidentally interrupt it. I'm like, oh, sorry, you were saying something? It's like, yes, I was saying you're going to die now. And then I don't die. I just stare into the mirror and like have to like talk to myself. And it's weird because I sit and I'm like, you're fine, dude. You sit in the mirror and you look at yourself. You're like, you got to calm down. You're perfectly fine. Everything's totally fine. You're just stoned. You're super high. You're super fucking high. And I'm like physically, verbally saying this shit into the mirror. And I'm like, you're fine. And then you leave the room and your mind is like, you're going to die now. Okay, now. And then, yeah. And you're right back to square one. The only way that I've been able to pull myself out of that is menial tasks. So I have to like go and like empty the dishwasher or like fold my clothing, you know. Sometimes I'll actually like take my clothing off of its folded space. I don't have a dresser or a chest of drawers, if you will. I have it's like one of those, like, it's not IKEA, but it looks like those IKEA square shelves. It's like a higher quality because if it was IKEA, then it would just fall apart. But it's a high quality, like, square shelving unit, and it's badass, actually, because it's really, really well made. And so we just put our clothes on that. If I can find it, I'll put up a video because then you can see how fucking OCD I am and what my side of the shelving unit looks like. Also, all my hangers hang the same way. Yeah. Anyway, I'll put up a quick video of that, but or maybe not. I might not have enough time because I'm like cutting it fucking close when it comes to when I'm leaving and how much time I have to cut this podcast. Maybe you don't even get to see this one. Maybe I take my break before that. Wouldn't that be fucking annoying? Wouldn't that be so fucking annoying? I would be annoyed with myself. I would get really annoyed. I would probably think about it the entire trip that I didn't fucking like update anyone on how I wanted to end season 1. So anyway, what was I fucking talking about? I don't even remember. Anyway, yeah, I legitimately don't even remember what I was saying. So, you're welcome. But yeah, I have to talk myself out of it. Oh, that's what I was talking about. My dresser. But yeah, my organizational skills are on par with my disease. I have a problem when it comes to organizing shit. And it was funny too because I posted a video on my Instagram showing my office and how it looks, and someone was like, "Oh, you'd figure it'd be tidier," and it's funny too because it makes sense that you would say that because it looks like there's just tons of shit all over the place, but everything has a spot, and I am always changing where that thing must go. Like I have a GoPro right here. See the angle that it's on? See how it sits on a fucking angle facing upwards? That's not an accident. It sits there in its very specific position because that's where I think it looks the best. It's on that backward angle, so it looks like it's kind of pointed up at you. I don't know why. Makes no sense at all. I have a bunch of costumes in here. They are organized. It doesn't look organized to you, but they are. I have 2 cups on here. They're like my mugs for whenever I have coffee. But right now they have like forks and pens. Sometimes I put my granola bars in there. I have sunglasses and regular glasses. This is where I keep all of them. I just put a pair of sunglasses there at the beginning, so it was a little unorganized. It kind of upset me, but but yeah, everything is organized and put exactly where I want it to be, and I do constant adjustments, and I move shit around, but it may look messy, but to me it is very, very fucking organized. It's because I have tons of shit. There's like I'll get like some sort of fucking like a crappy like knickknack, something that's like low quality knickknack, but I don't want to throw it away. And I think like, oh, it'd be kind of fun. I'm like that. I'm like the personal, like the human form of that fucking shenanigans restaurant from Waiting and Super Troopers. I'm like the human version of that, where it's like there's like it looks like a bunch of shit all over the walls, but I promise you, it has all been very well thought out. It's very methodical. And now that I have like the gear, like the instruments out of here, I went crazy. I organized the fuck out of this place, but it's still not 100% what I want it to be, especially for like the background of a podcast. It's a little bit crazy. It's a little chaotic, right? It takes away, especially when I wear like a fancy fucking crazy colorful shirt and I have blue hair. It takes away from what I'm doing. So I'm thinking in season 2, as it were, it's going to be a little less chaotic. I might have a completely different set. I have some ideas, so hopefully it's good. They could be really shit ideas, but anything's possible. So yeah. Anybody watch Stranger Things? Every time I ask that question, every time somebody asks me that question, I immediately think of this thing that happened on the Discord that I'm in with like basically some of my favorite human beings on earth. One of the guys at one point just popped in and said, "Hey, you guys like sex?" And I thought that was the funniest fucking thing that I've ever seen in my entire life, because it's like, does anyone not like sex? I'm sure there are people in this world that don't like sex, you know? Like, there are certain types of sex that I don't like. Anything that's really wet and gross, no. I like, never mind. Nope. Like, I thought that was, I fucking cackled. Like, and I don't have real life LOLs very often, but that was the timing of it coming up, the fact that the person hadn't like said anything for a little while and just popped in and said, "Hey, do you guys like sex?" I was like, I don't know why that was so funny to me, but it was really funny. But that's basically to me like the epitome like of, hey, have you watched Stranger Things? Because yeah, of course. Or like, hey, did you like Stranger Things? Everybody liked it. But the one thing I think about that show that everybody really liked, and this is a commonality, I think, is that fucking Eddie Munson character, right? What's his name? Joey in real life, I think. But he went to a fucking comic book convention in the UK, and apparently they overbooked his like autograph signing thing by like 400 fucking people or something crazy. And the guy is like, apparently, I don't know him personally, so it's only going by what the mass media is saying about this dude. But apparently he's just like this sweetheart, like this super kind guy. And like he played such a great role in the show, and like he was so lovable as a character. And so you want to associate the two things together. But apparently, because he had done this, he had, or because the company had overbooked, he was spending, or not because, but he was spending lots of time with each individual person. And it was apparently starting to piss off some of the staff. So somebody fucking stepped in and told him to shut the fuck up. Somebody said, like, shut the fuck up, get the line moving across, stop spending so much time with these people. And, like, they yelled at him. He got yelled at. And then, like, I think it was like it was the next day. He was doing one of those, like, when they all, like, all the fucking cast sit on a couch or a chair or whatever, and they answer questions or they talk about their role or whatever. So he's in that, and this one woman, she's like, I don't have really a question. I just wanted to say, I heard about what happened yesterday, and thank you. And the guy fucking starts, like, bawling his eyes out. And I started thinking, like, especially because he is newly giant fame. Like, he probably just, like, he had no idea that it was going to reach this amount. I'm sure he was like, okay, like, I'm on the biggest TV show of all time right now, for the most part. And I'm sure he knew that he would get some fame. He's a main character. I don't think he really realized the amount of fame he was going to get from this, and like how much fan love the guy is getting is astounding. Like, he's getting so much love that people, like, genuinely think that he is, like, one of the best actors of our time. And, like, yeah, he was great in the show, but, like, don't ruin it. Don't fucking give him too much, because we will fucking destroy this human being. Like, you can already tell he's an emotional guy because of what happened there. Like, he basically got yelled at by, like, some staff at a fucking convention. Anybody who was a seasoned actor would just be like, hey, fuck you, I'm doing what I want. I'll just leave. Like, you guys, like, I'm still getting paid regardless. If you're going to be an asshole about it, I'll leave. You'll get fired, and that's the end of the situation. But this guy instead, did what they asked him to do. They fucking started rushing people along, and some people missed out. And it was a big problem. And yeah, he fucking, like, he bawled his fucking eyes out because somebody was like, we saw you, we got it, we figured out what had happened, we saw this person yell at you, and then it was awful, and I'm sorry that fucking happened. We thank you so much because we some of us fucking we grew up like Eddie or whatever else, like we were bullied and shit, whatever, and they get, yeah, so it really fucking tugged on this dude's heartstrings, and it's scary because you kind of worry about people like that, right? People who are so coveted. He's now held at this fucking high standard, and people are going to be looking into his past. People are going to be looking at, like, how he's been with girls and women on set. I think there's going to be a lot that, we're going to focus too much on, and we're probably going to absolutely destroy this human being because that's what we do. And it makes me feel awful that we do this to people like that. It makes me never want to get into the industry. I've always sort of wanted to, but also, like, I don't know. Like, I'm thinking about possibly doing some theater stuff, like going in and, like, applying for a role or whatever, because I think it'd be a lot of fun. And I'm at an age now where I feel like I can just be goofy wherever, and I don't get too embarrassed. So, and that was my big problem, is I always wanted to be super cool, and it wasn't overly cool to be, like, a dramatic person or be like be in the drama club or something like that. I was never into that sort of stuff. I was always a character, but I was never, like, overtly in character. It was always sort of self-serving and, like, trying to serve everybody else. So, and I think I'm much further past that than I've ever been in my life. I don't really care about popularity. I don't really care about people noticing me. I want to do it because I really like characters. I really like trying to be different characters. I find it to be really fun. So I'm thinking about eventually getting into that world, but only for me, once again, not for anybody else. I probably won't be great at it. I'm going to have fun though. And that's all that fucking matters. But yeah, I do worry about people in this type of situation where, the guy suddenly gets this, like, giant amount of fame. He's obviously a vulnerable young man, and I think it's going to be interesting when we start digging up his past. The fucking woke parade is going to like just pick him to pieces if any little thing comes out, you know. So, and this thing that happened with Doja Cat is goddamn hilarious, dude. It's probably not that funny to them, but basically Noah, who is I think he's Will in that show. Okay, let me start again. So Doja Cat has been vocally a huge fan of Joey, or whatever his fucking name is, Eddie Munson, since the beginning of the show. And like, not just a fan as in like he's a great actor, like a fan as in like I want to ask his D kind of fan. And so she's been sort of vocal about not that specific thing, but like she thinks that he is good looking or whatever. So I guess she's been saying shit on Twitter and like talking about it. And then she secretly like went into fucking, what's his name's DMs. Oh my God. Did I run out of fucking... I don't know what's happening, but it looks like my memory card is almost empty. So anyway, she snuck into his DMs and to ask for Eddie's information so that she could sneak into his DMs. And she did. And he gave them to her, but then he leaked their conversation online, which is fucked up. It's a fucked up thing to do. Okay, so I have 4 minutes left apparently of my card, so I'm going to call it here because it's been an hour. And yeah, I appreciate you guys listening. It's really awesome that you're still taking part. I will make sure to be real. I'll make sure to be a lot more fun, more hilarious, and have a better set in season 2. I appreciate you guys so fucking much. You have no idea. I really, really, really fucking appreciate what has been going on here. I can't wait to get back into it. I'm gonna have a great vacation with my family, and yeah, let's fucking party after. Let's party. Email me, send me messages, send me emails, follow me on Instagram. It's Aaron is Perfect Podcast. Aaron _is_perfect _podcast. And yeah, you can email me at aaronsperfect@gmail.com, AARONSPERFECT@gmail.com. Or you can find me on, if you're watching this, you can find me on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. If you're just listening on one of those things and you want to see this visceral, you want to experience this viscerally, especially because now I have blue hair, check me out on YouTube. Aaron is Perfect everywhere. And yeah, I appreciate you very much, guys. Honestly, this has been a fucking wicked ride, and I appreciate you riding along with me. So yeah, take it easy, all right? And go dye your fucking hair blue.